So I thought I would treat you to the view as I'm descending from the Castell de Santa Barbara. See the beautiful mountains in the distance. Try to keep the parasol out of the way. I guess it's going to be hard since that's the direction the sun is facing in which the sun is facing. Wow, until I'm distracted. Putting prepositions at the ends of my sentences. What kind of barbarity is this? Death of erudition. So they've turned this side of the mountain on which Santa Barbara sits into a lovely park called Ereta Park. It has plenty of places to sit and relax, picnic, all seemingly with an amazing view of, there it is, the Mediterranean. It's really just a splendid sight. And yes, those lovely protrusions from the otherwise medieval structure. Well, actually, it's a 16th century structure. Either way, my point remains. Enough pedantry. Those protrusions are, of course, hideous and should be removed from a historic monument, but I suppose the Spanish are too practical for that. So, yeah. Show this as I descend, attempting to manage a parasol, manage my phone camera, and not trip on the grates that are along regular intervals of the slope for the 1 month a year where it actually rains here. View of the city over here, and it's 2 skyscrapers. Completely incongruous. I don't know for certain, but I suspect the reason there's only 2 skyscrapers in the inner city is because at some point after the second one of those was built, the citizens of Alicante rose up and said, no, we do not want such hideous buildings in our city center, and they passed a law against it. Lovely evergreen trees lining the path. Now, a tip about Spain in general. Fruit trees grow here wildly, like weeds, literally. So fruit on the street or from the trees is completely legal for you to eat and pick, especially if it's in public places. So for example, in the Castell de Santa Barbara, there are several fig trees. I help myself every day to one of the figs. They are delicious because I can pick them in the state of ripeness in which I like my figs, rather than the state of ripeness in which figs are nearly always sold, that is to say, disgustingly sugary sweet. Also, it doesn't get more organic than these trees because literally they are abandoned. Nothing is put on them, nothing is given to them to make them healthier, better, bigger, whatever. So on this side of the slope, the Mediterranean side, there are also pomegranate trees. And I find it ironic that they sell pomegranates in stores here because frankly, pomegranates are a shrub. So calling it a tree is kind of ambitious, but they are a shrub. And they do grow like weeds. In places like Granada, for example, which named thus for its pomegranates, the sidewalks literally run red with the blood of fallen pomegranates. It's kind of gruesome, I know, but here it is. Speaking of things on the streets, some other tips you might want to keep in mind about Spain. Public revelry. Yes, it is a very common thing here. Friday and Saturday night or the nights of holidays, people, after they have had their late dinner, remember Spaniards tend to dine around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. After they have had their dinner, they then ir de marchas. They go on a pub crawl, bar crawl, and then after that, they congregate in public places, in the pedestrian zones, in the plazas, where they, the men particularly, often don't use restrooms to relieve their now full bladders. They simply urinate on the buildings, and the urine then runs down the side of the building and into the street. So I can always tell if it's a Saturday or Sunday morning because the streets smell of, well, human urine. So just beware that little puddles on the streets or sidewalks in Spain probably aren't water, because frankly it doesn't rain here very much, if ever, depending on where you are. Now this is the Muralla Oeste, the western wall here up above me. Unfortunately it is closed now because some parts of it are apparently crumbling dangerously, and rather than fix it they've just closed it. It's really sad because it's quite a view. It's a bit like walking on the Great Wall of China for those of you, my viewers, who may have done so. Continuing down. This is where we're continuing. So yeah, as you see, it's quite beautiful. There's a bunch of people here, trying not to get other people in my videos. So I think I'm going to put a pause here and I'll be back in a little bit.